Hi, my name is Shanasi. I'm the leader of this group, and this is my two members. I will explain the difference between a security model and a security blueprint in information security management. Uh, Both of these are important when the electronics retailer is facing some challenges, including unauthorized access, inconsistent security procedures, and poor incident response. So to improve security management, the organization first needs to understand how security models and security blueprints work together. What is a security model? It is a structure framework that provides guidance for management information security. It helps organizations to manage risk, protect data, and establish proper security governance. For examples, commonly used security models include ISO, IEC 2701, and the NIST Cybersecurity Framework. These frameworks provide best practices and standardized controls that organizations can follow. In simple terms, a security model explains what should be done to improve InfoSec. So next, what is a security blueprint? Unlike a security model, a blueprint is a customized implementation plan for a specific organization. It converts security guidelines into actual policies, procedures, access controls, and incident response mechanisms. For example, in this case study, the electronics retailer may require employee access control, better monitoring system, and faster incident response. These requirements depend on the organization's size, risk, and business operations. Therefore, a blueprint explains how security should uh, actually be implemented. To conclude, the main difference is that a security model provides a general framework, while a security blueprint translates that framework into practical implementation. Therefore, organizations should not rely only on standardized frameworks. Instead, they should customize these frameworks according to their operational environment to achieve effective security management. Thank you. That's all for me. Now I will pass my mic to Chua Wonder.
Okay, for the part two frameworks, actually we got two frameworks. First one is the ISO IEC 27001 frameworks, which actually is a global standard for the frameworks. It's established international criteria for implementing and continuously improve on ISMS system. The second one is the structures and the risk base. So for the structure is focused on the top-down risk management structures that provides technicals and the business trust. The third one is the core threat uh, prioritize the confidentiality, integrity, and availability, which is CIA of the organizational data. So the second one is the NIST cybersecurity frameworks. So actually it's a US national standards, which developed by the National Institute of the Standards and Technology for the Computer Security Defense. It actually have the five core functions, which is the identity, protect, detect, respond, and the recover. The third one is the policy and action oriented, which have the highly technical concepts into the organizational guidelines to block the response and survive attacks. So the next one is a key similarity. Key similarity actually have the four. and the four securities. First one is the risk-based, which focus on the intentionally on the risk identifications and management rather than the rigid checklist only technical control. Second one is the continuous, which is model reject one of setup, which actually is a regularity control and judgment. The third one is the tech nature. Both functions seamlessly cross any technology landscape without enforcing specific software or the hardware vendors. The fourth one, last one, is the compliance, which directly facilitates adherence to complex regulatory landscapes and the legal data privacy matters. So the next one is the key differences, which you can see about the four features, certifications, structures, global reach, and the total cost. So one is no is ISO is like formal, and the NSFD is no formal certifications. The structure is first one is the SMS, the second one is the function based file call. Then the global reach is actually identificationally recognized of the ISO. The NIST is a primarily of the US focus. Then the last one is cost. ISO got the highest cost, and the NIST is the lower cost. Last one is the comparing suitability of them. As ISO 27001 is the best choice for firms involved in the international business operations. But another one, NIST as CFF, is the best option for firms that want to create a cybersecurity framework in a very flexible. That's all for me. Thank you.
Okay, my previous teammate has explained how the two frameworks are different. So I am Melvin, and I'm going to explain how are they helpful and their strengths and limitations, especially towards a middle-sized company. So the first one is NIST CFS framework. So its strength is flexibility, the first one, as we know, because the framework is very flexible, so we can just customize everything according to the company's needs. And then it's very scalable because you can implement the security controls gradually over time, so it doesn't have to be a structured framework, because it allows you to implement the security measures over time. And then the third one is it's cost effective, and it does not require a lot of resources. The last strength of it is practical security improvement. So it basically covers all the security controls that a company needs for a middle-sized company. And then there's a few limitations to this framework. The first one is it doesn't have a formal certification compared to the ISO framework, because it has less external credibility, and then it's less structured. Also allows it might cause organizations to apply the controls inconsistently, and then it also requires internal discipline, so it's very reliant on the top managers to handle how the framework works. And then the next one is ISO IEC 27001 framework towards a middle-sized company. So the first strength is it provides strong governance. This framework enforces clear policies and procedures. And then it also has international recognition because its certification is widely known, and it might increase stakeholder trust. And then it provides long-term security maturity because it has continuous improvement and is governed by a body. And then it also has standardization, which reduces inconsistent security protocols in compared to the previous framework, which is NIST CSF. And then the limitations of this framework is it has a very high implementation cost. It requires continuous monitoring, so you need to hire professionals in this field. And then it also needs documentation because it's all at once. And it's also very complex to implement because the framework itself is very structured. And then it's also less flexible because it has a standardized protocol of what you need to do and what you can't do. So it's not very customizable. So this is our security blueprint, and the framework we have chosen is NIST Cybersecurity Framework CSF 2.0, as it is a very flexible and cost-effective model. The reason we chose this framework is because it's very flexible and very cost-effective. It avoids the heavy financial burdens and administrative burdens of ISO 27001 certifications while providing practical security operations suitable for a medium-sized retailer. And the key access control for this framework is RBAC, Restrict Access Based on Roles, MFA, for secure admin and remote access, and then we have session timeout to auto-log after inactivity to avoid threats. So we also have a governance structure to resolve the issue of inconsistent security procedures by creating clear accountability. The structure is to establish an information security steering committee. And then we have IT security coordinator, which manages daily operations, firewall logs, and weekly access audits. We have store operations manager, which ensures retail staff follow data handling guidelines on the shop floor. And then we also have vCISO, which is virtual CISO, that provides expert outsourced security oversight within a restricted budget. We also have an incident response plan to fix the retailer's poor incident response through a 5-phase playbook. The first one will be identification made by the IT coordinator, monitors and detects anomalous activity. And then we have containment. And then if we find any anomalous activity, we will immediately isolate compromised retail terminals from the network. And then we'll proceed to eradication, which we would remove the threat and patch the vulnerability. We also have recovery to restore clean retail operations using offline backups after the eradication process. And then we have to have a review as well to know what lesson that we have learned from this attack. So we need 48 hours to update security policies. So the conclusion and recommendation. The conclusion that we have gotten from this study is standard frameworks provide strong guidance but are too generic and focus on what to do instead of how to do it. So relying solely on them may lead to compliance without effectiveness, especially for SME with limited resources would have the biggest impact, because you will just blindly follow anything without knowing what is the point of it. So customization is essential to address real operational needs. We need to have role-based access control to reduce unauthorized access and clear SOPs to improve consistency and incident response. And our recommendation is to adopt a hybrid approach. We can just start from a standard framework as a foundation like NIST CSF, but tailor it to the organization's size, risk, and business environment for effective security management, and then start to pivot towards IEC at some point along the way. That's all from our group. Thank you.